Dereck Lively is a player coming into the 2023 NBA draft that can fit on any team. Lively, coming out of Duke, is a 7'1 center with a 7'7 wingspan. Goodness gracious. He was even at one point the second ranked player in the high school class of 2022. In Lively's first year in college, his numbers didn't look that great. 5 points and 5 rebounds. But he did average nearly 3 blocks a game. Don't be fooled by his poor stats though. Lively can fit perfectly on any team in the NBA with his defense and pick and roll finishing ability. Lively is an incredible rim protector and is pretty mobile defensively. With that 7'1 frame and 7'7 wingspan, it allows him to pretty much rack up blocks with relative ease. He's managed to figure out how to stay vertical at a decently high level, which is a huge asset in the NBA nowadays. He's also shown the ability to switch onto some guys on the perimeter, and he plays pretty well in drop coverage as well, which is something that's super valuable in the NBA nowadays. Offensively though, there's nothing that's going to blow you away. But he can still provide value to NBA teams here through being a lob finisher in pick and rolls. He's super springy and athletic, and he pretty much dunks anything you throw up in the basket area. Lively isn't perfect. He can be prone to fouling and doesn't have much great touch inside other than just violently dunking the ball. But next to somebody like Luka Doncic in the pick and roll, in Dallas he'd be unbelievable. Lively is just one example of a guy in the 2023 NBA draft that can play on pretty much any NBA team. How's it going, my friend? I'm Alexander from Load Management Media, and let's continue with the 3 players that can fit on any NBA roster. A little quick disclaimer here, everybody knows that Victor is the best player in this NBA draft, and any NBA team would be bowing down and would love to have him on their roster, so we're going to exclude him just to make it a little bit more interesting. I'm going to be having one player from the later first round, which is Dereck Lively, another player from the mid to late lottery, and then somebody in the top end of the draft. So another player that can fit on pretty much any NBA roster is Kentucky guard Cason Wallace. Cason Wallace is a 6'3", 6'4" combo guard out of Kentucky. In his 1 year in college, Wallace averaged 12 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals per game, shooting 45% from the field and 35% from 3. If you've heard anything about the drafting process and anything about Kentucky guards, you know that they're a lot better than they tend to perform in college. Their stats tend to outperform how they do in college. Guys like Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickley are some of the guys in the last few years out of Kentucky that have done way better than their draft stock and their college stats would have suggested. And in this case, Cason Wallace is another guy that fits that mold. I'll never go against this Kentucky guards thing, it seems to always be true. Wallace is a perimeter defense specialist. He is incredible staying in front of guys, and he gets into passing lanes and helps on defense like you've never seen before. He's somebody that a lot of guys are comparing to Jrue Holiday for his defensive reasons, but also offensively he's very similar. He can provide offensively with getting to his pull-up mid-range, and he has a super nice floater as well. But he can stretch it out to 3 at a pretty decent rate, 35%. That's respectable for college. And it shows that he can definitely develop that, but it's a skill that you should expect when he's in the NBA. Wallace can be surprisingly athletic too. He loves this two-handed dunk down the lane when he splits through defenders. He can get up a little bit and it'll surprise you with his athleticism. Cason isn't an elite finisher around the rim and is a little smaller as a combo guard than you'd probably like, but he provides 2 things any NBA team needs from day one: elite perimeter defense and the ability to hit spot-up threes and create his own shot when needed. Cason Wallace is somebody I'm super high on, and I think he'll be a perfect fit for any team in the NBA right away. Like Dereck Lively and Cason, someone else who's even better and is probably the most plug-and-play guy in the whole entire NBA draft, other than Vic, is Brandon Miller. You can just stick him in your team and he's going to be fantastic. Miller averaged 19 points and 8 rebounds, shooting 43% from the field and 38% from 3. Honestly, Brandon Miller has it all. He can shoot incredibly well from 3, 38% on like 7.5 attempts a game is unbelievable for the level of college competition he was playing at. He's got a decent handle that'll allow him to get to his spots in the mid-range. He's sneaky athletic and has thrown down some really mean dunks, and he can get to the rim as well, as you've seen if you've watched him play before. And his playmaking vision is actually something that's greatly developed over the year. You saw that in his last game at Alabama versus San Diego State University. He was throwing left-handed dimes out of the pick and roll like he'd been doing it his whole life. He's even a pretty good defender, and he is 6'9" as a shooting guard / small forward and has a damn near 7', 7'1" wingspan. That is like the dream NBA executive mold for a wing in the NBA. And he's got all the skills to back it up, as I mentioned before. He's still a little bit thin with his frame at 200 pounds at 6'9", and I'm sure that's something that he's trying to do, and it's not really that big of an issue. His jump shot is also a little bit flat, and there are some concerns with scouts about how he's going to be able to get that off at the NBA level. But really, other than that, those are just things that I'm nitpicking, and any NBA team would love to have him. I also wouldn't be surprised if teams that are younger that have been slowly competing in the playoffs / play-in would go and try and get Brandon Miller on draft night. Guys like Memphis, Sacramento, even OKC, they would all fit fantastically with them and might be the last piece to complete their young competitive core. Overall, all these guys are great selections in this year's draft, and with the right development, they should do well on any NBA team. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Over here at Load Management Media, we take a look at everything that's going on currently in the NBA, and we give you a little bit of a different angle for you to see some of these things and create some more new and exciting content. So if that interests you, consider hitting a like and a sub. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.